Once again, it's on. You know what time it is. It's time to play some toss. Welcome, everyone, to episode 97. That's right, episode 97 of the Tristain on Sports Show Toss. It is your main man, T-Square, Tristain Thomas. Thank you so very much for joining us. This week, the Green Bay Packers handled business at home against the Steelers, but it came at a cost. There was some good, but there was some bad. We'll discuss. The Milwaukee Brewers, the regular season is over. Postseason is about to begin. What do I think about their matchup? We'll discuss that. The Milwaukee Bucks begin preseason action and are also getting some props from GMs around the league. And then the Toss Sweep, we're talking WNBA Playoffs, and we set the scene for MLB postseason. But you all know how we get things started here on Toss. We get things started with the state of the state, and let's get to those now 3-1 not NL. I'm thinking about the Brewers already, getting ready for postseason. NFC North Division leading Green Bay Packers. As I mentioned, they handled business at home at Lambeau Field against the Steelers. 27-17 victory. We predicted on Quick Toss it would be a 35-24 victory, so not that far off from where I predicted on Quick Toss, which you can watch on Facebook.com/T on Sports Show. Typically Thursdays are the day that the new episode drops, unless it's a weird day for a game. We predicted a 35-24 victory. We got to give them their props first because they did go out and get that victory, handle business at home. Got to give them their props. And as I mentioned in the teaser or the rundown, whatever you want to call it, that's just what we call it here in the business. There was some good and there was some bad. The win came at a cost. We'll get to that in a bit. What did I notice that was good about the 27-17 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers this past Sunday for the Green Bay Packers? That offensive line continues to do stellar work. You're talking about a line that has Melvin Ingram. Talk about the defensive line for the Steelers. Melvin Ingram. TJ Watt, who, he wasn't 100%, but missed the game the previous week, did not miss it this week. He was out there, didn't look like he was unhealthy. He was putting moves on, but that offensive line with those rookies and Billy Turner, and they're getting the job done. They're protecting Aaron Rodgers. They're keeping him upright, which is exactly what you want to do for your near 40-year-old quarterback. Still absolutely one of the best in the league. Showed it again. Randall Cobb had a hell of a day. Welcome back officially. 2-touchdown game. I believe it was his highest rated game since he returned to the Green Bay Packers, before he left. Did not have a really highly rated game when he wasn't on the Packers. Came back, 2 touchdown catches. People say you turn back the clock, the kid's only 31. Well, I can't really call him a kid anymore in the sport of football. He's not really a kid anymore, but he's only 31. Not exactly washed. He's still got some tread left on those tires. He can still get the job done, and when you have the trust of Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have some games like that. Everybody's counting you out and doubting you. Okay, watch me work. So he had a great game. A.J. Dillon, 81 yards rushing. Talk about that offensive line. Not only did they protect Aaron Rodgers, they opened up holes for Dillon and Jones. And Dillon was a real big beneficiary of that, in addition to carrying guys down the line, up the field. I said it before and I say it again. He is the perfect back for the Green Bay Packers when it gets to December. The cold. Nobody wants to tackle him. Nobody wants to see him coming through that hole. There's a whole lot of business decisions going on. You're either going to get run over or you're going to get carried. Which one do you want? Either way, you're not really stopping me. Really good game for the backs. Really good game for the offensive line. Pleased to see how the defense performed as well. Kenny Clark performed extremely well. Kingsley Keke performed extremely well. That defensive line was really putting pressure on Ben Roethlisberger, collapsing that pocket, getting home a couple of times, strip sack fumbles. But Eric Stokes, who's going to need to play in an even bigger role, and we'll get to that in a minute. Eric Stokes took another step forward on Sunday. A couple of passes defensed, an interception that sealed the game. Got called for yet another bogus PI. But he's taken a step forward again. He continues to improve before our very eyes, week after week. It's not just the speed with him. And we're really seeing that. We're also seeing what Joe Barry wanted to do. He said he wanted to play fast and aggressive. And we're beginning to see that now. There's still work to be done. And people will look at the record of their opponents that they've beaten over this 3-game winning streak and say, have you really played anyone? You can only play who's in front of you. And the matchups were tough, I would say, with the exception of Detroit. And even then, I can't really poo-poo on Detroit because they put up some fights. They put up a fight against the Packers. They had the lead going in the half against the Packers by 3, 17-14. They essentially had that win in the bag against the Ravens just last week, and Justin Tucker doinks a 66-yard field goal to give the Ravens the win. Detroit has shown effort. They have shown fight. They made it a little bit tough against the Bears as well. They've shown effort. They've shown fight. I can't really poo-poo on them, but I digress. You look at the record of the opponents for over this 3-game winning streak for the Packers, and people are going to poo-poo it, but you can only play who's in front of you. And you still have to go out there and execute because you can get beat if you don't. We saw that week 1 against the Saints. And the Saints haven't exactly been lighting the world on fire. They just got beat at home. Their first home game this season in front of the New Orleans crowd. Really great to see this team continuing to grow. It's been 4 games. We're really through the first quarter of the season. And can you really call it that, though? Because now it's 17 games. Before it was that nice, tidy, neat 16 games. You could break it up into 4 quarters, 4 games each. Now it's like, where do you throw that extra game? What quarter do you throw that in? Do you throw it in the 5th quarter, the 4th quarter? Do you throw it in the 3rd? Do you throw it in the 1st? I'm probably going to throw it in the 1st. Give them their report card for over the 1st quarter, maybe next week. But again, I digress. This team is really growing. That's great to see. Guys are starting to get it. That's great to see. Can that consistency keep up? Can that performance continue to amp up? That was the good of the win. The bad. Zadarius Smith having back surgery. He may be gone for the season. We just don't know. But if you have a back injury, that's already troublesome. To have back surgery, that's even more troublesome. You're talking, not only is he may be out for the season, but you may not see him in a Green Bay Packers uniform again. May end up being a cap casualty. Just don't know. His future is uncertain for this season and for the rest of his career as a Green Bay Packer. We just don't know. The big one from Sunday's game, we saw Preston Smith go down. He may be okay. But the biggest injury of the game, and for the Packers, Jair Alexander, their all-world cornerback, went down, shoulder injury. He was trying to excuse me, not attack, tackle. He attacked the tackle, I'll tell you that. Trying to tackle the Steelers running back, Najee Harris. Good tackle, went to the legs, flipped Najee Harris up, stopped him short of the first down. Packers got off the field on defense, but then you saw Jair on the ground, and as soon as I saw him hit him and he went down to the ground, the way he was holding that arm, I was like, oh, that's a shoulder. I was like, that's probably a separated shoulder or worse. That's immediately what I said as soon as I saw it. Packers are speculating it's definitely something dealing with the shoulder. Reports are coming out. It's something with the AC joint, whether it's a grade 1, 2, or 3 injury. We just don't know. If it's a grade 1, that's the best case scenario. He'll be gone for 1 to 3 weeks. Grade 2, you're looking probably a short IR stint, 4 to 6 weeks. Grade 3, that's surgery. He's out for the season. Packers have sent it to a specialist. They're getting second opinions. Head coach Matt LaFleur expects to say something on Wednesday regarding the injury. You're hoping for the best. You don't want to lose that guy. Like I said, he's all world. He is the lockdown of lockdown corners. But it just really goes to speak to the problem that the Packers are having. They have a major injury issue. Now, some people are liking this to the last time the Packers won the Super Bowl back in 2010, the 2010 season, where you were missing a whole laundry list of guys like Ryan Grant, guys like Jermichael Finley, guys like Nick Barnett. You're talking about Pro Bowlers and All Pros and guys of that nature. Not just, bit role players, but guys of impact. Gone. I'm not going to liken it to that season because, every season's different. You can't say, oh, well, just because it happened in 2010 season and it's happening now, it's exactly paralleled. Well, I'm not going to go that far. I think Matt LaFleur is still good enough to get these guys to where they need to be to go out there and win ball games and be okay. But there's only so many factor guys you're going to be able to lose and still be able to go out there and do the job and win. But they have a whole laundry list of injuries. We already mentioned Zadarius Smith with the back injury. He had surgery. We don't know if he's coming back this season. Chris Barnes is out with a concussion. Kevin King still dealing with a concussion. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he's on IR with a hamstring injury. He'll be back in a few weeks. Bakhtiari is still on the PUP list, rehabbing that knee injury that he got late last season. Elton Jenkins, their stalwart offensive lineman, Pro Bowler, he's still out with that ankle. You hope to get him back soon. But you're talking of those names, at least 4 of those guys were either All-Pro or Pro Bowlers last season. That is significant player firepower you are missing from this team currently. And somehow, some way, they're still going out there and winning games. Yes, they're 3-1. Packers have more wins than anyone in the division. At one point, they had more wins than the entire division combined. I actually think they have as many wins as the entire division. But I digress. It's an issue that you hope gets better and not worse because it's a 17-game season now. Bye week doesn't come until very late in the season. Some might think it's the right time of the season. But, man, you could use one of those early. You could use one of those right about now just to get some of these guys healthy. But regardless of the injury issues, even though you're going to keep an eye on that and monitor that, Packers are still 3-1. Packers are still learning and growing and continuing to win, continuing to improve their performance time after time. And you love to see it. They've got a test in Cincinnati against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Pretty balanced offensively. They're now more explosive with Jamar Chase on the outside. Joe Mixon, he's dealing with I believe, an ankle injury. I think he'll be okay. He's usually out there, but he's a good back. And a defense that plays tougher than a lot of people realize. It's going to be a battle. They don't traditionally do very well in Cincinnati either. Do the Packers. So it's going to be a tough game on Sunday. But who do I have winning that ball game? Well, you can find that out again on Quick Toss. Facebook.com/T on Sports Show on Thursday. And also on YouTube. Get that answer. Find out why I think the way I think. And see why I'm exactly 3-1 with my predictions so far this year. Continuing here on Toss State of the State, let's talk about those NL Central Division champion Milwaukee Brewers. The regular season is over. Brewers end that season 95-67. They are out of that wild card game situation that they were in the last couple of seasons. And they will face the Atlanta Braves in the NLDS, the National League Division Series, after the one game wild card matchup between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Los Angeles, who's won over 100 games, are a wild card because the Giants also won over 100 games and won the division. That's just insane. We'll get to who I think are going to win those battles in the tall sweep. But their matchup is already set, the Brewers. They're locked into that 2 seed. They're locked into that matchup with the 3 seed, the NL East winning Atlanta Braves. And it's going to come down for me to pitching for the Brewers and the hitting of the Braves. Now, the Braves put up a lot of runs. They're just under 5 a game, which I believe was 7th best in the majors this season. But they strike out a hell of a lot. Almost 9 a game for the Braves. And what is one thing the Brewers do very well against hitters? They strike them out, especially Corbin Burnes. Your ERA leader, by the way, the first Brewer to do so. Congrats to him. Should win the Cy Young Award. I don't know if the voters will give it to him, but he damn sure should win it. He was just that good. You got a free-swinging Braves offense who can put up runs but also strike out a lot. So it's really feast or famine for them. Against a Brewers pitching staff that excels at getting guys out. Just think about that game 1 with Burnes on the mound, the initial outgetter, and towards the back end of that bullpen. You won't have Williams because he was foolish. Punched the wall, broke his hand. They're very hopeful to get him back if the Brewers make the World Series. He's rehabbing with a splint on right now. But that does ding your bullpen and your plans a little bit. You got Hader on the back end. You got Suter. You got Boxberger. You got those guys. But you really would have loved to have Devin Williams there. You're talking about shrinking the game to 6 innings. If your initial outgetter, if Craig Counsell, so fit, allowed the starters to go 6 innings, you shrink the game to 6 innings. You get the best you can out of that starter through 6 innings. And you shrink it down, get that 7th inning guy in there. You could kind of pick and choose with that one. Williams in the 8th, Hader in the 9th. You shrink that game down to 6 innings, and you slam the door shut on them. Now, I'm not saying the Brewers can't do that still. I believe they can. But again, to have a guy the caliber of Williams, Rookie of the Year last year, Reliever of the Year last year, Got off to a slow start this year, but then put it all together. Got better. To not have a guy like that in your bullpen, it does hurt. It's something I believe the Brewers can overcome, but they shouldn't have to. But they're going to have to. I think the Brewers will win that series just because the pitching for the Brewers will be much better than the hitting for the Braves. It's really that simple. The Braves are going to have to get more disciplined and get really hot with the bats. And it's a best-of-5 series, folks. So anything can happen. We've seen any and everything happen in a best-of-5. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Braves could win this series. And it's not out of the realm of the possibility that they can't get hot just for that series. But I just think the Brewers pitching is just far superior to the Braves hitting, and the Brewers will win that series and move on to the National League Championship Series. Postseason for the Brewers begins on Friday afternoon, 3:37 Central Standard Time. I know a lot of people that are going to be leaving work early or taking the day off or playing hooky, go down to AmFam Field, still Miller Park forever, but AmFam Field, for some Brewers playoff action, postseason action. Looking forward to that series. I think it's going to be a good one, and I think the Brewers will pull that one off and move on to the NLCS. Let's finish up the state of the state here on Toss with the NBA world champion Milwaukee Bucks, who start the preseason against the Memphis Grizzlies. It's just preseason, and basically hardly anyone is playing. Drew and Chris are out because Budenholzer wants to get them as much rest time as they possibly can. I mean, they've been going all summer. The long playoff run to a championship. The Olympic run to a gold medal. They've been at it nonstop, giving them some time to heal their bodies. Giannis is out. He's got a little bit of soreness. A lot of guys out. I believe the only starter that really wasn't listed out was Brook Lopez. I mean, it seems like he always plays. So, but Budenholzer being very judicious with everyone. Obviously, it's an extended playoff run, a bit shorter of a turnaround than you would normally have in an NBA offseason. Winning the finals in late July, turning around and playing in October. Preseason. Get the season started. Couple of weeks. The Brewers are getting some respect, but the Bucks are getting some respect from GMs around the league. Now, the anonymous GM survey came out, and they asked them the certain questions and how they feel about certain players and certain situations and this, that, and the third. And they're getting some respect. Here's a few of the questions that were asked and some of the answers for these. If you're asking who is the best small forward in the NBA, most of the GMs, 67% of the GMs said Kevin Durant was the best small forward in the NBA. 17% said LeBron James. 7% said Kawhi Leonard. Giannis got some votes on that as well. Now, last year it was LeBron James at 57%. This year, Kevin Durant. Now, Giannis is not a small forward, so that's neither here nor there. But when you ask the question, who is the best power forward in the NBA, 63% of the GM said Giannis is the best power forward in the NBA. 27% said LeBron James. 10% said Kevin Durant. Giannis takes that category again. Last year, it was 46% of the GMs who said that he was the best power forward in the NBA. Now it's at 63%. Unquestioned best power forward in the NBA is Giannis. The best center in the NBA, 63% of the GMs said it is Nikola Jokic, the MVP. Denver. Joel Embiid, 23%. Giannis, 7%, comes in third. And the tie with Anthony Davis of the Lakers also was 7%. 50% last year said Nikola Jokic was the best center in NBA. This year it goes up to 63%. Hey, an MVP award will change things for you. Who is the best defensive player in the NBA? GMs were asked. 47% said Giannis. Second on that list at 17% was Rudy Gobert, your defending Defensive Player of the Year, who I think that award should have went to Giannis last year. I don't think it was even a question that it should have, but they went with Rudy. And third was Drew Holiday at 10% of the GM saying he was the best defensive player in the NBA. That is tied with Kawhi Leonard, who also got 10% of the vote from GMs in the league. Last year, it was 46%. Giannis being the best defensive player in the NBA. That was his Defensive Player of the Year season, along with his second of MVPs. So we went up 1%. Who is the best perimeter defender in the NBA? Number one at 50% of GMs voting, Drew Holiday. Ben Simmons is second at 17%. Jimmy Butler rounds out the top three, tied with Kawhi Leonard, rounding out the top three at 10%. And at fifth, at 7% of the votes, Giannis. So you got two Bucks in there. You got number one, Drew Holiday, best perimeter defender. I think we all saw that on display all season long, all postseason long. It was just stellar. And Giannis, who really excels at being the kind of roaming defender, that sort of eraser that is able to roam the floor and do many different things defensively for you. That is when the Bucks are at their best defensively, and he gets props for his perimeter defense as well. Who's the best defender in the NBA? 77% of GMs, and this is where I disagree. Who is the best interior defender in the NBA? This one, I don't know if it's going to be 77%. I kind of disagree with that number, but 77% of the GM said it's Rudy Gobert. Yeah, he gets a lot of blocks, and that's a big piece of being an interior defender, but there's so much more. How's your post defense? Not just being that eraser, that last line of defense. How's your post defense? How do you stifle guys like that? And yes, I said stifle, even though his nickname is the Stifle Tower. Second on that list at 13% is Giannis. Third at 10% is Anthony Davis. I think that number is too high for Rudy Gobert on that question. Who is the most versatile defender in the NBA? Number one, with 40% of the GM vote, it is Giannis. Giannis, the most versatile defender, and we spoke about it. He's a guy that does many different things for you. He's that roaming defender. He could be that last line of defense that blocks the shot at the rim. He could be that guy that hits the chase down block. He could get steals on that perimeter. He can make make shots tough for you in the post. Ask Kevin Durant on that one. I mean, he does so many different things, and he definitely deserves props on his versatility defensive wise. And that's why he's number one according to GMs. Which is the best defensive team in the NBA? With 40% of the GM vote, the Milwaukee Bucks take the top spot. I could agree with that. And I think they've gotten better defensively. You added Grayson Allen. You added George Hill. You added Semi Ojeleye. Yeah, you lose P.J. Tucker, and I think that definitely hurts a little bit. But if Semi is the guy that I think he can be and can become in this Budenholzer defensive system, and with a little bit more development, I think they can make up for that loss. But the Bucks take the top spot, 40% of the vote. The Jazz in second with 33% of the vote. The Lakers in third with 10% of the vote. And the Miami Heat with 7% of the vote. Round out the top four in that one. So the Bucks getting a lot of respect for the moves that they've made, the players, the way that they're playing. GMs are taking notice, even if some fans want to sit there and poo-poo their ring and talk about injury this and injury that, not knowing that injuries are a part of the game and you can only play who's in front of you, and the Bucks did earn that ring. But the people who know. And they know that the Bucks have improved, have been damn good. And they have to show that respect to them. It's time for us to run the toss sweep. At the 20 Double on Twitter and Instagram, my social media handle. A lot of blurbs, some pictures, interesting stuff. At the 20 Double. That's at the number 2, the number 0, and the word double. Instagram and Twitter. Follow me there. The WNBA playoffs have been really good. Really, really good, y'all. I know I've been saying it. Been staying on top of it, man. Y'all need to get in on it. It has been fantastic. Fantastic basketball being played. And we're really on the verge of a couple of upsets in these series. Now, if you all have been listening to Toss, and I thank you very much. Seems like the world is continuing to rock with this. What's up, Ireland? I see y'all. Y'all been rocking with us heavy. You know that I've been telling y'all to get on these WNBA playoffs because it's been fantastic. But I said that I felt that it would be Las Vegas and Connecticut, the Aces and the Sun in the WNBA finals. And it's no secret. I love the Aces. I just love their team, the way they get after it defensively. The way that they are so balanced offensively, anybody could go off at any time. You have multiple players scoring double figures. You got the 6th player of the year in Kelsey Plum. Congratulations on the Aces. It's just such a really good team, really balanced. But then you have a team that has the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, Skylar Diggins-Smith. That big three out in Phoenix is getting the job done. Cunningham getting the job done. And they have the Aces on the ropes. They are up 2-1 in the series. Taurasi goes off for 37. 8 3-point baskets made. I'd say that ankle was starting to feel pretty damn good. I don't know. I don't know what she did. She must have took some secret stuff from Mike. But it's like it was night and day from where she was against the Storm to where she is now. She went out. She went off. They're up 2-1. They have a chance to clinch that series in Game 4 Wednesday night. Advance to the WNBA finals. I didn't see this coming. And don't get me wrong. I knew it was going to be a tough battle. Phoenix was no punk. They are a tough team too. But I felt the Aces, their defense was a little bit more rough, a little bit more rugged. Their offense was a little bit more balanced. And it just feels like something is just off for them defensively. They can't seem to stop the three. And not just from Taurasi, from anybody. And it's gotten them beat twice. So they're going to have to shore up that 3-point defense. They're going to have to be a little bit more physical. Get Taurasi off her spots. Get Diggins-Smith off her spots. Make Brittany Griner a little bit more uncomfortable. Muddy this game up. They're going to have to if they're thinking about surviving to a game 5. This is definitely not where I saw them in the playoffs. I definitely saw them advancing to the WNBA finals, but it's not over. But man, the way they've been playing the past couple of games, it just feels like something's off with them. They need to get back to that Aces type of basketball, but Phoenix is no punk. Phoenix is tough. Let's go to the other series, Chicago, Connecticut. The Sun, another good defensive team. Chicago, also a good defensive team, as I've said before. When Candace Parker is in that lineup, the defense is different. The offense is different. The Sky are up 2-1 in that series. They also have a chance to clinch a berth in the WNBA Finals on Wednesday night. It seems like the two teams that had the double bye, Connecticut being the 1 seed, Las Vegas being the 2 seed, having that double bye to the semifinals, it's kind of hurt them. And it's really kind of hurt them defensively. They just seem like a step behind, and they have seemed to step behind the past couple of games. Chicago, they really like to muddy it up, get a little bit more physical. They're perfectly fine with being a little bit ugly offensively, as long as they're physical defensively. But I felt that Connecticut could do it much better than Chicago. Well, that's not proven to be the case right now. Chicago's up 2-1. WNBA Finals berth on the line Wednesday night. It's going to be some really good games tomorrow night as we record this program on a Tuesday. Going to be some really good games. Some desperation basketball, closeout basketball being played. It's already been a fantastic playoffs for the WNBA. It's going to continue. Now let's get over to the MLB postseason. I already gave you my prediction for that Brewers Braves series. I said Milwaukee will win it. I think their pitching is better than Atlanta's hitting. Atlanta, hey, they can score 5 runs a game, but they also strike out about nine times. And the Brewers excel at striking batters out. I think the Brewers will get the job done. Go on to the NLCS. So who's in it? Let's go to the AL first. Now, currently, there's a wild card game in the AL going on. It is Boston. It's New York. At last check, Boston was up 3-0, bottom of the 5th. Nathan Eovaldi dealing right now. Yankees all out of sorts. Still a lot of ball game left, but they're looking just all sorts of thrown off. For me, it doesn't really matter who makes it out of this wild card game. Could be the Yankees in a comeback. Could be the Red Sox holding on. Whoever wins this game is going to lose to Tampa Bay. Somehow, some way, Tampa Bay just keeps on going. They're still there. They're still a scrappy bunch, finding different ways to win ball games. It seems to be that way almost every single year. You count the Rays out, and they're right there, either winning the division or in the wild card. They're always there, and I think they will beat whoever comes out of this Yankees Red Sox wild card game. Doesn't matter. I think Tampa Bay will win that game. They'll advance to the ALCS. The other ALDS matchup that's already locked in, the Chicago White Sox, the Houston Astros. This one I kind of gone back and forth on because I feel like these two teams are kind of similar. Not completely, but kind of. You see the similarities. I think Houston's offense is just a touch better than that of the White Sox. And that's the only reason why I give them the nod at this point, because they'll come up with a couple more timely hits to get them a couple more wins. And again, it's a best of 5. You only need 3. They'll get a couple more timely hits to get them those wins than will the White Sox. But this is really a flip a coin series. Either team could come out of there. And I'm not going to say I feel 100% good on this pick. I would not be surprised if Chicago wins, but I just give the slight edge offensively to Houston. Now let's get to the other NLDS matchup. Again, the wild card game has yet to be played in the NL. That will be played on Wednesday. That is between the St. Louis Cardinals And the Los Angeles Dodgers, as I explained, the Los Angeles Dodgers, way over 100 wins. But they lost the division because the Giants were also way over 100 wins. Just absolutely insane. And the Cardinals rode a, 17 game win streak to clinch that wild card. Dodgers are going to win that one. Even without a Max Muncy, even without a Clayton Kershaw. I think those will be bigger factors down the line, not in this particular series of best of 5. But I think they win that one. I think they win that this was not the best of 5. This is the wild card game. A 1-game situation, that's going to affect you more so in like a 5 or 7-game series. 1-game wild card, again, anything can happen, but I just feel the Dodgers are going to win that game. Cardinals will have done all that work just to lose in the wild card, which was the same case with the Brewers in the past couple of seasons. Did all that work to get into the postseason just to lose in the wild card. It hurts. It sucks. I know, but for me, that's what's going to happen. So the Dodgers will then advance to face San Francisco. And that's going to be back and forth. But again, if you're missing Clayton Kershaw, if you're missing Clayton Kershaw, as they believe they will be, and they hope to get Max Muncy back at some point, but I don't think it'll be in time for that series. I just don't know. I mean, do they have enough firepower to overcome the Giants? Again, the Giants are just so good in every facet of the game, have been all season. A part of me just wants to say, yes, the Dodgers can win that. You know, defending champions, they can overcome that. But I just got this feeling about the Giants that just says, I think they're going to get it. Best of 5, I think they could pull that one off. So they'll advance. The San Francisco Giants, they'll advance to the NLCS against my pick, the Milwaukee Brewers, of course. So you're going to have 1 seeds and 2 seeds in both in both leagues. For some reason, I don't believe that's going to happen, but just my gut feeling as I look at it, as I looked at all the performances from the entire season, it just feels it might be that way, but it's the postseason. It is the postseason. The way you think it's going to go is the way that it rarely goes. But we're going to give it the best shot anyway. So again, to recap, the ALCS will be Tampa Bay and Houston. The NLCS will be the Giants and the Brewers. We'll see how well I do on those picks on a future episode. Well, y'all, that'll do it for me. That was episode 97 of the Tristain on Sports Show Toss. Facebook.com/T on Sports Show, your home for the Toss on Facebook page. We touch on a lot of things there that we don't get a chance to on the show. That's Facebook.com/T on Sports Show. That's TON Sports Show. At the 20 double on on Instagram and Twitter. At the number 2, the number 0, and the word double. Follow me there. And of course, TossNationMedia.com. Your home for the Toss brand of sports. Truthful, opinionated, passionate sports. It's what you deserve. But, as I said before, it's time for me to get on up out of here. It's T-Square, Tristan Thomas, reminding all of you to keep it moving forward. Always forward. Forward always. Until next week, so long from Toss.